Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing fine and are taking care of yourselves. My name is Kanika Tandon. I'm here with the video of Class 7th English 2nd. As your second unit tests are over, we are here with your YouTube classes and online classes. Today we are going to start a new chapter, which is chapter number 8, Go Kiss the World. As you all know that this chapter has already come in your second unit test syllabus, but because of the less number of days I couldn't complete it on the YouTube section, so I'm going to complete this chapter now, but it will be easy for you to learn from it if in case you need this chapter's explanation or question answers for your annual examinations. So our new chapter is chapter number 8, Go Kiss the World. This is actually an autobiography narrative of the person who has actually written it. So this story is about the author himself. So let us read what he has to say in the story. In this autobiographical narrative, the author pays tribute to his parents. He also gives us an insight into how the strong morals and the simple principles followed by his family enabled him to achieve success in his life. I was the last child of a small-time government servant in a family of 5 brothers. My earliest memory of my father is as that of a district employment officer in Korapur, Orissa. There was no electricity, no primary school nearby, and water did not flow out of a tap. As a result, I did not get to school until the age of 8, and I was homeschooled. So in this story, the narrator is telling that he was the last child out of his 5 brothers. So his parents had 5 children and he was the 5th one. His father was a government employee in Korapur, Orissa, and wherever he lived, he had no primary school. Primary school means the school which has classes 1 to 5. No primary school, no electricity, and water did not come into the tap all the time. So till the age of 8, he did not go to school, and he was homeschooled. What is the meaning of homeschooled? Where you are have been taught in the school itself by your mother or by your father or by any other guardian. My mother had come as refugee from the then East Bengal. He was immaculate when she married my father. My parents set the foundation of my life and the value system that makes me what I am now and largely defines what success means to me today. As a district employment officer, my father was given a jeep by the government. While he could use the jeep to commute to his office, my father refused, saying that it was not his jeep but the government's jeep. He would walk to his office. The jeep driver was treated with due respect due to any other member of my father's office. So he now tells us about his mother, who was a refugee, who was not from India, who came when India was when some of the part of India was parted into Bangladesh. So she came from Bangladesh to India. She came from the part that was Bangladesh to India, and then she did her 10th when she was married to his father. Also, he'll tell us about the values that he got from his father, from his family, so that made him successful in his life. So as the government employee, his father actually got a jeep, but he refused to use it as it was not his own. It was of government. It was a government's property. And then he would walk to his office. He would go to his office by foot, and the jeep driver was very respected in his home. Our day used to start with the family huddling around my mother's chula, an earthen fireplace that she would build at each place of posting where she would cook for the family. The morning routine started with tea. As the brew was served, father would ask us to read aloud the editorial page of the Statesman's Mufassal edition delivered one day late. We did not understand much of what was read, but the ritual was meant for us to know that the world was larger than Korapur, and the English I speak today, despite having studied in an Oriya medium school, has to do with that routine. So how his day started by sitting around the chula that his mother made, and she would give them the food, breakfast, tea, and other necessary things. And his father would make him read the newspaper. The name of the newspaper was the Statements Mufossil, that was delivered one day late. All right, but and he did not understand all the English. That was the main purpose of his father to make him read the newspaper was to actually make him know that the world is much bigger than the place where they live. And the English that he was reading, actually he did not actually understand all of it and could not read properly, but he was made to read the newspaper so that it becomes a habit for him to read. And the English that he speak today was because of the newspaper that he read, because he did not study in any English medium school. He was a student of an Oriya medium school. After reading the newspaper aloud, we were told to fold it neatly. Father taught us a simple lesson. He used to say, you should leave your newspaper and your toilet the way you expect to find it. This lesson was about showing consideration to others. So this was a very good thing that his father taught him, that he should leave the newspaper, he should fold the newspaper very neatly after reading it, because somebody else would come and read it, and he would want to find it in a way that you found it. And same goes with the toilet. So this was the little thing that he actually learned from his parents, from his father especially. Being small children, we were always enamored with advertisements in the newspaper for transistors, radios. We did not have one. We saw other people with radios, and each time there was an advertisement from Philips, Murphy, or Bush radios, we would ask father when we could get one. Each time my father would reply that we did not need one because he already have 5 radios, alluding to his 5 sons. So since they were not that much rich, so every time the narrator saw kids with radios, or he could read the news advertisement in the newspaper, or hear the advertisement on the radios, he would ask his father, when will they get one, a radio or anything. Then his father would reply that he already has 5 radios, that is his 5 sons. We did not have a house of our own, and would occasionally ask father as to when, like others, we would live in our own house. He would give a similar reply, we don't need a house of our own, I already own 5 houses. His reply did not gladden our hearts. Now whenever he asked for their own house, they would get the same reply, as the father already has 5 sons. But these kinds of replies did not make any of the son happy. Nonetheless, we learned that it is important not to measure personal success and the sense of well-being through material possessions. But they actually understood that success is not something that you have when you own things of your own. Government houses seldom came with fences. Mother and I collected twigs and built a small fence around our house. She had also planted some seedlings which began to bloom. Just at that time, my father's transfer order came. So what happens? The government houses are like what? They have fences around. So the narrator and his mother would go and collect some twigs. You know what are twigs? Small part of the trees, like branches. Like they would collect it and then make a fence of our own, and a fence of their own. And also the mother also planted some saplings, so that so that they could get some trees, more trees. But then what happened? The transfer letter of his father came. A few neighbors asked my mother why she was planting seeds that would only benefit the next occupant. She said, I must create a bloom in the desert, and wherever I am given a new place, I must leave it more beautiful than what I had inherited. That was my first lesson in success. So, when the neighbor of the family asked that why she was planting seeds for the plants as she was leaving the house, she said that she should leave the place more beautiful than it was. So she was planting seeds over there. So, and this became the first lesson in success, first lesson of success for the little boy. It's not about what you create for yourself, it is what about you leave behind that defines success. So according to his mother, what was success? That whatever that you have come to has not been the same when you left. You have made it even more beautiful than you when you were leaving it. My mother began developing a cataract in her eyes when I was very small. Cataract is a disease that we have in our eyes. In a very simple Hindi language, we call it motiabind. When the little boy was actually very small, his mother began developing a cataract in her eyes. At that time, the eldest of my brothers got a teaching job in Bhubaneswar. So it was decided that my mother would move to take care of him, and as her appendage, I had to move too. For the first time in my life, I saw electricity in homes and water coming out of a tap. It was around 1965 when the country was going to war with Pakistan. So what happened? The eldest of the brothers got a teaching job in Bhubaneswar. So in order to take care of his brother, his mother and he went to Bhubaneswar, and for the first time he saw little electricity and water coming out of the tap. The time was 1965 and the country was actually going with the war with Pakistan. My mother was having problems reading, and in any case, being Bengali medium educated, she did not know the Oriya script. So, in addition to my daily course, my job was to read her the local newspaper from beginning to end. That created in me a sense of connectedness with the larger world. So, what happened? Since his mother was having problem and she was a Bengali, so she did not know how to read Oriya. So the little boy's work was to actually read the newspaper from beginning to end in order to so that his mother would know what is happening around the world, and because of this he was connected to the larger world. While reading out news about the war, I felt that I was fighting the war myself. Till date, I measure my success in terms of that sense of larger connectedness. So what happened? As he used to read the newspaper to his mother, he actually thought that he was the one who was fighting the war. And because of this, he was connected to the larger world, to the rest of the world. Meanwhile, the war raged and India was fighting on both fronts. Lal Bahadur Shastri, the then Prime Minister, coined the term Jai Jawan Jai Kisan and galvanized the nation into patriotic fervor. I had no clue about how I could be part of the action. So what happened? This was the time when Lal Bahadur Shastri was the Prime Minister and he coined the term Jai Jawan Jai Kisan, and this made the nation excited, and the nation got a patriotic feeling about their own country, and the little boy was so excited knowing all of this that he wanted to be a part of that action. But since he was too young to take part in the war, so he was confused how he could be a part of that situation. This is a very long chapter, so I'm going to explain the rest of the chapter in my next video, which will come after the winter vacations. Your winter vacation starts from 23rd of January to 3rd of January, 23rd of December to 3rd of January. So I will see you all in my next video next year. Till then, I wish you all a very merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you. Take care.